friends, this is the Miss Wolfie from our Half Acre Homestead, and today we're dehydrating tomatoes for tomato powder. Okay, so here is 40 quarts or 150 pounds of stewed pureed tomatoes. But I still have 50 pounds left in my freezer. I am going to stew them, puree them, and dehydrate them. Let's get started. Here is my frozen tomatoes that I put whole cases in the freezer. Gracie, please get down. She loves mushy tomatoes. And all I've done is I'm dehydrating celery too right at the moment. So I just, the blanching water, I just poured the blanching water from the celery over the tomatoes and over the frozen tomatoes, and the skins just slip right off. And what I'm doing is I have this strainer over a stock pot, and I'm dropping these peeled tomatoes in there. Why? Because they're really full of water, folks. Especially after I've poured boiling water over them to blanch the skins off. So what this is going to do is this is just going to drain a lot of the excess water off the tomatoes. Now I'm still going to stew them a little bit. Why? So I can puree them. In the past, I have taken canned tomatoes that were coming up on their date, because I don't like to leave literally store-bought canned tomatoes. You see this, folks? You see this right here? Gracie wants a chunk of tomato. My vegetarian dog. There you go. Now get down. Tomatoes that were coming up on their expiry date, I would just puree them and dehydrate them on fruit leather trays. Now that's fine if you've got lots of canned tomatoes in your pantry. Okay, Gracie, you can have that one. It's a little too mushy. And I've also sliced fresh tomatoes and dehydrated those. The problem with those, for me, is you know what? They weren't cooked. So when you go to rehydrate them, they don't rehydrate as nicely into like a sauce. Okay, so here's our stock pot full of tomatoes. This is 25 pounds of tomatoes. And I've got it in a pressure canner pot with the rack in the bottom. You can just see it, and it's got water in it so that I can double boil these. I just want to stew them down so that they're cooked a little bit and that I can drain off some of the water. Now, as you can see here, even though I've let these drip, there's still a lot of water on these tomatoes. And before I puree them, I want to drain off some of this water, so I'm just taking a jar and I'm pressing it against the side, and we're going to get rid of some of this water. And we're going to do that until this is down enough that I can puree it. So as you can see, these have actually cooked down quite a bit, and now I'm just going to hit them with the hand blender. Okay, so this was 25 pounds of tomatoes, and now I'm going to dehydrate it. I'm just going to sit it over here. And let's start with our first tray. Now we use the fruit leather trays because this is obviously a liquid. And I'm just going to start spreading this on the fruit leather trays. Okay, so when I have all this tomato in this pot on these trays, we'll be back. Okay, so here I have actually 11 trays. I'm going to hang on a second. I'm going to put my lid on and set it for okay, so here is 6 trays of my dehydrated tomatoes. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fruit leather tray and I'm going to flip it over, and I'm just going to gently bend it using my thumbs for pressure, and that helps it to come off much better. Now I'm just going to take my coffee grinder, and again, I love this coffee grinder. It is a KitchenAid, and it's worth the extra $10 or so you're going to spend on it, because this comes out and can be put through the dishwasher. So that's really, really handy. It doesn't limit you to just using it for coffee. Now I'm just going to break up my pieces. You want to crush them down in there so that they catch the blades. Okay, this is the first tray, and what I want to show you is how you test to see if it's ready to go in the jar. If you take some powder and you pinch it and it crumbles easily, it's dry enough. And I test each tray individually and on to the next tray. And that, my friends, is almost 25 pounds of stewed and dehydrated tomatoes. And you would be amazed the uses for dehydrated tomatoes. Soups, sauces. If you're making homemade barbecue sauce, put a tablespoon of that in while you're cooking it, and that'll thicken it right up. This is the Miss Wolfie from our half-acre homestead saying dehydrated tomatoes. I wouldn't be without them. Take care, God bless.